Apple going back to Intel? Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but listen, the real story here is way more interesting than Apple wants Intel chips again. This is not about putting old Intel CPUs back inside your Mac. This is about power, control, and Apple protecting its future. So here's what's really happening. Years ago, before Apple Silicon, every Mac used Intel processors. That was from 2005 all the way to 2020. Intel was the king back then. Apple was happy, Intel was happy, and everything was smooth. But then, Intel messed up. They got slow, they kept delaying new chips, 14 nanometers, 10 nanometers, everything came late. Apple got tired and said, you know what? We'll just build our own chips. That's where the superfast M1, M2, M3, and now M4 chips come from. Apple designs them, but TSMC, a company in Taiwan, makes them. And that's where the new problem begins. Right now, Apple has a huge weakness nobody talks about. Every single Apple chip is made by only one company, TSMC. No backup, no plan B, no alternative factory anywhere else in the world. If something happens to TSMC, Apple is finished. Not slowing down finished. I mean no chips, no iPhones, no Max level finished. Here's the scary part. Taiwan has earthquakes. Taiwan has political risks. TSMC factories run at insane capacity, and there's still global tension in that region. Plus, this one is big. TSMC knows Apple has nowhere else to go, so Apple can't negotiate prices. They can't push back. If TSMC says, this is the cost, Apple basically has to say, okay, fine. Apple hates that. Now here's where Intel comes back into the picture. Intel is trying to rebuild their reputation. They're finally improving their manufacturing again. And they told the world that by 2027, they should be ready to build chips on the same advanced level Apple needs for the lower-end M-series processors. So Apple is thinking, if Intel can actually do this, we don't have to depend 100% on TSMC anymore. Bro, that changes everything, because suddenly, Apple has a backup chip supplier. Apple can negotiate better prices. Apple is safer if anything happens in Taiwan. Apple gets political cover because the US government wants more chips made in America. And let me say this clearly. Apple is not putting Intel Core CPUs back into Macs. That era is dead. What Apple wants is for Intel to manufacture Apple Silicon chips, the M-series chips, but using Intel factories instead of TSMC factories. Same Apple chip, different factory, more control. There's also a spicy political angle. The US government, especially Trump, wants American companies to bring chip production back home. And the US government recently invested around 10% equity in Intel to help it rebuild. Trump already said he wants less dependence on foreign chips, and even threatened a 100% tariff on imported semiconductors. Imagine Apple paying double the price for every chip just because it comes from Taiwan. That's a nightmare. But if Intel builds Apple chips inside the US, boom, problem solved. And before anyone starts feeling bad for TSMC, trust me, they're doing just fine. NVIDIA is knocking at their door, Qualcomm is knocking, AMD, MediaTek, even military contracts. Everyone needs chips. TSMC is practically printing money at this point. So the real reason Apple is returning to Intel is simple. Apple wants power, Apple wants safety, Apple wants options, and Apple never wants to depend on one company ever again. If Intel can deliver by 2027, this will be one of the biggest shifts in the tech industry, again. And if Intel fails, well, Apple still has TSMC. TSMC still has Apple, and the world keeps spinning. But right now, this move is Apple playing chess and thinking 5 years ahead, because in tech, the company that controls its supply chain controls everything.